Well, in terms of carrying over our spring work into early fall camp, I've been very pleased with the things that we really focused on in spring and the retention and carryover we've had so far this fall. I think one thing going into spring that we really wanted to stress was the ability to be successful playing our base defense and to be great at running to the football and tackling. I think that's things that we've focused on in camp and that we've improved on in camp, and things that have gone through every day, every drill, every period is running to the football and being physical and tackling. I think one of our concerns up front was going to be where we're going to have the proper depth to play our schedule, and I think we're developing that depth every week, every scrimmage, and a lot of that's happening because some of our frontline players have been limited. I think that forces depth on you. It forces us to look at other guys, and we've been very pleased with the development of some of those guys who we consider to be, our second line guys. Example: Mike Riley, Steve Sennett, Nick Zaremba. Those guys who we went into the season thinking, hope they can develop for us to be deep in the defensive line. And then we get the great leadership from Marcus and Harold, and Brian Stinney's had a really solid preseason so far. So I feel like the injuries and the guys being nicked up a little bit, nothing serious, just nicked up a little bit, has allowed us to get a lot of reps to some of the young guys, and it's going to go a long way to helping us develop that depth we need. Well, I think at the linebacker position, our goals in the spring were to get Jake back into the flow, and he did that really well. Coming into fall, what we really wanted to do at linebacker was to make sure we gave Jake and Dante enough reps to be sharp, but also spread their reps around to develop some depth with Quincy, Ben Casper, Matt Pock, to some of the younger guys. And that's been a real bonus for us so far in the preseason, is getting Jake, Dante, and Jabrell enough reps to be sharp, knowing what we're doing in our scheme, but also spreading some of those reps out to the second team guys, working with the first group. Jake's progressing exactly like we thought he would. His instincts are very good. He's been very physical, run the defense exactly like we expect him to. And Dante on the edge is a different player. He's a lot more freedom and a lot less restrictions on being athletic and doing things the way we want to. I think that's been a real plus for him. He has a lot more freedom to move around and to make plays and run around and be a productive football player. And then Jabrell's been really steady as far as what we want from that position, and getting good depth from Goodman, Casper, and Quincy September. I think in the secondary, our biggest concern coming in to the spring was where Terrell was going to be as far as moving back to corner from safety. He performed well in the spring. So coming into the fall, we were trying to figure out who our third and fourth corners were. And I think we've been able to identify guys at those positions that can help us in football games. I'm really happy with the way BW has progressed. We've been able to do some things differently with him to keep him involved rather than just have him out at the field kind of playing field corner the whole time. And now he's challenged a little bit more with some run fits and some things like that to take more advantage of him as an athlete. And Terrell's been very steady at both field and boundary corners. So I'm happy with those two guys, how they are progressing. And TK Hester has come in and been a pleasant surprise. He's done a good job picking up where he left off. And also a couple other guys, DeAndre Houston Carson, as a freshman, has come in and provided a much needed depth at the field corner position. So corner position is a solid position for us right now. At the safety position, we have 3 or 4 guys that are getting a lot of meaningful reps in the preseason. We have the starting 2 guys, Jake O'Connor and Brian Thompson, who are very experienced, very settled in their position, and 2 younger guys, Jerome Copeland and Ivan Tago, who have been really aggressively challenging those guys for reps. So we feel like we've got some depth in the secondary position as a whole, and guys who want to get on the field and guys who are going to be able to help us in special teams. As camp ends, we right now need to evaluate our depth chart and make sure we solidify that. And then we need to figure out exactly what our game plan is as far as what we're going to carry into Virginia, and start really honing in on the things that we do against the things that they do. And I think that's what our focus has been, sprinkled in training camp, but now it's going to be full focus. Here's our package, here's their package, here's how those 2 packages mesh together, and just basically focus on our personnel matchups against their personnel, and make sure our guys have a real good understanding of what we want to do, so that when game time comes around against UVA next Saturday night, our guys are relaxed and just going to play hard and run to the football and be aggressive and be physical, because you can make up for a lot of little mistakes by being relentless pursuing the football and being physical and tackling.